We're going to turn to Australia now, where a powerful earthquake has rattled the southeast of the country. There are no reports of deaths or serious injuries, despite geologists saying that it was the biggest in the region since the 1800s. Well, the earthquake hit the city of Mansfield, which, as you can see, it's not far from Melbourne. It hit on Wednesday morning, with tremors felt across Sydney and actually even all the way to Tasmania, Australia's largest island. Well, Mansfield is the gateway to Victoria's ski fields and, well, some skiers caught out on the slopes, as you can see, when the earthquake hit. Let's have a look at Melbourne, the capital, of course, of Victoria State, and you can see for yourselves the damage of some of the buildings and, actually, some of the city's avian residents getting a little bit of a startle, along with the people, of course. Just have a look at this.
Yeah, we've got an earthquake. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Oh, I've never had an earthquake in here before.
Scary.
My goodness, the studio's worst nightmare. That clip was shared by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, which showed the presenters of its breakfast show reacting to the tremor. And here's presenter Michael Rowland describing that very moment.
It was very tense, I reckon, about 20 seconds there in a TV studio, a very similar studio undoubtedly to the one you're sitting in. There were lots of equipment, lots of heavy lights that were shaking above us. So it was pretty tense as that earthquake rocked not just Melbourne, but as you mentioned, large parts of southeast Australia.
So tense in the studio, the TV studio, also tense in the radio studio. That moment captured on radio. Listen to this.
And I'm sorry if I'm just sounding a little shaky, because we are literally shaking. Our phone lines are going mental. Hopefully we're still on air. Tell me if you're listening, or maybe you experienced that as well. I think it's an earthquake. It was crazy. I'm sorry, I'm just losing my mind a little bit. You hear about small earthquakes in Gippsland, but that was something else.
And that was indeed presenter of ABC Gippsland's breakfast show, Amber Irving Guthrie. She says that the experience was unsettling.
I think around 30 seconds. There were reports in Melbourne of around 20 seconds, but between that time frame, it felt like a lifetime. It was just bizarre. And I was just thinking, am I drunk? Am I about to pass out? Did I press a self-destruct button or something on this studio desk? I just didn't know what was going on.
Now, at the time of the earthquake, the Australian Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, was in the United States, where only a few hours earlier he'd met President Biden. He gave this reaction.
We have had no reports of serious injuries or worse, and that is very good news, and we hope that that good news will continue, but obviously we'll get further reports as the night unfolds here in the United States. But it can be a very disturbing event for an earthquake of this nature. They are very rare events in Australia, and as a result, I'm sure people would have been quite distressed and disturbed by that, particularly in the most immediate area affected.
Scott Morrison, who is, of course, in the US. So let's take a look at just how rare this earthquake is for Australia. We're going to hear from an expert.
This is the largest earthquake that we've recorded onshore in Victoria and New South Wales. So that makes it rare. It's not the largest earthquake we've recorded in Australia, but it's getting up there. Precise magnitude, probably 5.8 to 6. That will be determined by the work that we're doing now. Northeast of Melbourne, a couple of 100 kilometres away, but the felt area is huge, right across Victoria. I live on the Mornington Peninsula, and the house shook for a good 5 seconds. I could feel the first wave come through, the P wave. The S wave came through a few seconds later. It's felt up in Canberra, and I've even heard reports of it being felt in Tasmania. So the felt area was very large, as it is appropriate to a magnitude 6 earthquake. The fact that it occurred in a remote area means we don't expect much damage at all.
Incredible just how far it was felt.